Hey, Mark here. When we started these Final Fights, I thought it might be a fun way to just talk about Final Fights in movies, but they've since become really popular. So we decided to start our own podcast called Final Fights, a branch off of the Movies, Films, and Flicks podcast, where it's nothing but Final Fights. So if you want to hunt it down, we're currently on Spotify. We're yet to be on iTunes, but look out for us there. But just make sure to rate, review, and subscribe, and look for Final Fights, the podcast, and keep listening to Movies, Films, and Flicks. Thank you. Welcome to Final Fights, brought to you by Movies, Films, and Flicks. I am Mark Hoffmeyer, and joining me is a man who hires his henchmen from the same place that Deacon Frost and the Joker hire theirs. Is Hakim Robinson.
Hey, what's going on?
So, I don't know if you noticed this, but during this fight scene, before the final fight, when Blade squares off against Deacon Frost, all of the henchmen in the vampire army have matching ski caps, glasses, jackets, pants, socks, shoes, and belts. And then if you think about Batman in 1989, they all had Joker leather jackets, and they all wore predominantly black outfits. They were allowed to wear different hats. Okay. But I'm thinking the temp agency who hires out these henchmen, they got to have like some form of the same uniform. So I think it's the same agency that lent out these henchmen. What do you think?
Well, I think, with Batman, their budget was probably much bigger than Blade's budget. So, but anything is possible. When you're on set with wardrobe, they try to save as much money as possible. Yeah. And with color grading, you're not going to be able to tell anyway with these extras, actually. That makes sense.
I've never seen a vampire army with matching henchmen. So the henchmen line up, they get their sizes done, they order there's a vampire who orders these ski caps for all the henchmen. And to have the ski caps works well because you don't have to do hair. So like a budgetary reason, it's smart.
Right.
But I just think matching henchmen make me laugh.
And does it work? Because it's more or less the protagonist going up against the same person every time. Yeah, every kick is basically the same person. So
you can put a different wig on a different henchman, or one glasses or not, and you can really stretch it out.
Yeah.
So you and I work together. We teach teach in Atlanta. We teach film, and when I asked you to come join the podcast, you said Blade and Blade 2. So we're going to cover those. But why did Blade come to your mind first? Like, what about Blade made you want to talk about this final fight?
I think Blade is a very underrated comic book. And Blade is character driven. It's not a plot driven. So I'm into Blade. I'm into what he goes through, his backstory, and I think they just did a really good job with 1 and 2. We won't have to speak about 3.
Wait, there was a third one?
Yeah. But 1 and 2 was good, and I think you don't find a lot of movies where the second one surpasses the first, and I think Guillermo del Toro did an awesome job with Blade 2.
Oh yeah, he crushed that movie. But I gotta tell you, man, this is '98. This is before This is before X-Men. This is before Spider-Man.
Right.
This movie, obviously there was The Crow in 1994. That was a successful R-rated superhero film, comic book film. But this movie was a success in '98, and then 2 years later we have X-Men. So I don't think it was a. What's the word? It didn't just randomly happen. I think people saw the success of this. And that's one thing that makes me happy is Blade nowadays is starting to get its due, because I think it is very important in the superhero genre.
There's actually a video on YouTube that talks about how Blade basically reinvigorated the Marvel franchise. If it wasn't for Blade, there wouldn't have been Iron Man. There wouldn't have been the whole MCU wouldn't have come to existence, which is great.
Yeah. All right. So let's get into this fight, and we'll kind of get into the build up here. So the final fight is between Stephen Dorff as Deacon Frost. I call him a yuppie vampire.
He's a listen. He's a good bad guy.
Oh, a great bad guy.
Bad guy. Yeah, man.
He's just he's a rich kind of like white collar vampire who's mad that he's not a pureblood.
Right.
And
right.
so he gets all of the 12 like elder vampires, the purebloods together, and he summons this blood demon called the Magra. And all these skeletons pop out of these vampires, and he gets infested as La Magra. But during this time, Wesley Snipes is just destroying. So first he has to kill his mom, Sanaa Lathan, which is a bummer.
Yeah, this is after he comes back to life. Like he's supposedly dying and he comes back.
Yeah,
right.
Dr. Karen, right? He drinks Dr. Karen's blood and he comes back. And so what I love most, though, is people talk superhero when they land on the ground. What, superhero land? What do they call that?
Hero landing. Yeah. Hero landing. Yeah.
When when Blade had that in this movie, I just started cheering. I've watched this movie 10 times. Every time he does that superhero landing, it just looks so badass.
And was he the first?
Yeah. I don't know what could have been first, right? It has to have been it.
Yeah, I would think so.
His glasses get flicked to him. Perfect catch.
That's after he cuts off
the
other character's head.
Quinn.
Yeah, Quinn. Yeah. Played by Donald Logue or Logue. Yeah.
I finally got both hands. I don't know which one to kill you with. Gonk. And I love what Mercury does. When she sees that, she just runs away. Like, she's like, I'm out of here.
Oh, yeah.
She goes after Karen.
That's right. They had their fight scene. That's right.
But she's smart, though. She's like, I'm not fighting these guys. I'm going to go fight Karen.
Right.
But yeah, so he gets his head chopped off. He goes down kind of like a chump.
Yeah. I mean, but he had been fighting Blade for the whole film, back and forth for the whole film. So
he's one of those fun secondary antagonists, is he not? Like, I love Quinn because he just keeps popping up.
He had all the one-liners, so he played a good role too. Yeah, I liked him too.
And then Blade just he rips the throat out of a henchman in this fight. I mean, he goes full Roadhouse.
Wait, and throws the throat at the next henchman coming. Right.
And I mean, and then there's what about that henchman who's just sort of sitting and like he's in between this area and he doesn't move and he just lets Blade kick him. I don't know if you saw that part.
It was a few. I mean, when these fight scenes are choreographed, they try to be as realistic as possible, but depending on the framing, you're going to catch somebody just standing there watching, waiting to get kicked or punched,
I got to tell you, if I'm a henchman and I'm seeing Blade kill 17 out of my 19 henchman buddies, I'm running. I'm out of there.
So you wouldn't be a good henchman. You wouldn't be a good henchman at all. I mean, henchmen are not supposed to run. That doesn't make them henchmen.
But if I know I can be killed in about 13 seconds and I could maybe fight, I could stand 50 feet away and maybe shoot him.
Well, maybe the definition of henchman is you believe you can take out the good guy, regardless.
So they're delusional.
There you go.
Oh, I like these. That's interesting. And then, all right, so then he beats up all the henchmen. I mean, he has some of the best moves. I mean, I don't remember if you remember in the trailer, but when he gets that henchman on the ground and then you just see Wesley Snipes kicking him like 5-6 times.
He pops up out of the, he pops off the ground, yeah.
He flies right off the ground. I mean, there's so many good trailer moments in this fight. Just the way that he puts the sword on the ground and, moves it around and grabs his sword and just fighting these guys. And, I mean, this was, I guess, just this choreography. This is some of my favorite fight choreography in superhero movies as well. It's not CGI people punching each other. It's a vampire hybrid spin-kicking henchman. And I love that.
Right. And this, I think this was before MMA, or this might have been around the time MMA was coming into fruition. And Wesley is a black belt, so this was all him.
Man, I love these fight scenes. And this movie has a Rotten Tomato meter score? I don't get it.
What is it?
It's like 57.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
This is like an 83 movie. I don't know. Hopefully we get some.
I would say at least 83.
So how do you think Deacon Frost? One of my biggest problems sometimes with movies, if you think about like Thor: The Dark World or other films where the villain gets the ultimate power, the villain gets the ether, the villain gets La Magra, they become the most powerful being in the universe, and that's all they wanted, and then they're defeated. Do you kind of dislike that trope in films, or do you think this one did it so early that it was ahead of all the movies that do it now?
Well, no, I just think that they follow all the basic superhero stories where the bad guy has to, I guess, ingest all the power, which makes the hero that much more the hero at the end when he defeats him.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I mean, he needed it. I mean, he you know, like you said, he had the elders. He took the elders out, and he has, you know, this great power now where he can regenerate. And I don't know if the regeneration, and that's the thing with Marvel, they have a lot of characters that regenerate. You know, Wolverine and so on. So basically, that's what he did. And Blade cut him up a couple of times, and he just came back.
Yeah, he cut his arm off and then his torso, and the blood just pulled him back together.
Right. Interesting.
And I gotta tell you, that scene where they're just slamming swords against each other, that was another great trailer moment. Just good sword fighting. And I looked into Stephen Dorff's stunt double because you can tell about 80% of this fight is the stunt double. They don't even try to show Dorff in this. And the guy's name is Clayton Barber.
Okay.
And right now he is doing, like, he's a stunt coordinator for shows like Black Panther, Creed, Iron Fist, Jessica Jones. He's doing like season 2. He's done Iron Fist. He's also worked with Stephen Dorff again on Wild Card. He did Born Legacy, Wind Talkers, Jason Statham movies.
Oh, he's doing a lot.
Yeah, so this guy, he was known for stunts in '98, but now he's a stunt coordinator doing massive films.
That's awesome.
And I think they did a good job of, Stephen Dorff is not a big guy. But I think in this fight scene, by giving him that power and the red eyes and the close-up of the sword fight and the kind of flips, they did a good job making him a tough opponent. Like, there's definitely like a size discrepancy.
Yeah, well, for me, Stephen Dorff has a presence on screen that, to me, it helped that as well. Like, he was a believable bad guy, so even if he was smaller than he was, with this power, it made it believable that he can basically take on Blade, you know? Yeah.
And then he had the traditional, he messed up. He got cocky. And then he's like, what are you going to do with that serum? What are you going to do with the, I have the name of the serum here somewhere. He's like, what are you going to do with that? And then Blade
he said something like, it's too late for you, or something like nothing you can do with that now. Then he throws it into him.
Oh, the sword, right? Yeah,
he throws the sword up. He says, nice shot. You know, Wesley Snipes gets down on his knees, catches it behind his back.
And he just loads him up. And I think he delivers. All right. There have been instances, I think, in film where people have not known how to read a line. So in X-Men, when Halle Berry says, you know what happens to a toad when it gets hit by lightning? Like, same thing that happens to every other thing when it gets hit by lightning. There's ways to read lines. And I'm going to give us our PG-13 rating here. When Wesley Snipes, he's like some motherfuckers are always trying to ice skate uphill. He reads that perfectly. That's a line that could be, like, normally final lines when you think about Schwarzenegger, stick around, or just other various lines that let off some steam. But that's a long final line, and Wesley just nails it.
Yeah. He did a good job with that too.
And then he just blows up. I mean, and then also one of my favorite moments is when he cuts Stephen Dorff in half, when he just mimes like WTF. It's such a stylized, cool performance. Like, I think it's a better performance than people realize too with Blade. It's just so physical. So I don't know, but this final fight, I don't know how old you were when you watched this, but I was 16. And I went to the theater, and watching this movie sort of blew my mind for a number of reasons. I mean, I was a big fan of Wesley Snipes from Demolition Man and Passenger 57, Rising Sun, all those movies, those action films. And, well, White Man Can't Jump, I love that movie too.
Right.
And Major League.
And New Jack City.
Yeah, and Jungle Fever. He had quite the resume by the time he was on this. And just the bloodbath in the beginning, the blood rave. What a great way to establish this elite, different kind of vampires. And then these new breed of vampires, they were very computer savvy. They were very stylish. They were very model-y. Like, I was used to the vampires in, Interview with the Vampire. Or, I mean, Fright Night had modern vampires. Hunger had modern vampires. And also Lost Boys. But they were kind of relegated to secrecy. These were like out and about.
Right.
Like regular, powerful Wall Street vampires. Like, what did you think when you first watched this film back in '98?
Yeah, well, they made the vampire world real. They put real people in these situations where you never know, a vampire could be with you on the elevator. The scene where what's her name, Karen is in the elevator, there's two vampires behind her and they're following her. and you don't know that they're vampires until you see the tattoo on them. So they made vampires real. And I think Blade was the first R-rated hero film, superhero film, and it crossed. It became crossover. Everybody went to see Blade.
Yeah.
Everybody was talking about Blade because they'd never seen anything like this before. It was a great time to see this guy. And then Chris Christopherson played
Whistler.
Whistler. Oh, he was awesome.
Oh, they loved him so much they brought him back.
Right. He was dead and they brought him back. Right. So everything, I think they hit every nuance in the first Blade. And I remember listening to an interview. This is when I was in New York and Blade came out. They had Wesley Snipes on a radio show. And this was in between. This is when they didn't know they were going to do another Blade. So they built up this whole interview to ask him toward the end of the interview. They said, all right, we've been waiting all this time. Is there going to be another Blade? And he paused for a second. He said, yes, we're going to do another Blade.
Yeah.
Now, it was in between Blade 1 and Blade 2. So, I mean, there was a lot of hype around Blade. Blade was a sleeper, and everybody loved it. So, and then the end fight scene was great. So Blade set the bar, as far as I'm concerned, for the next Blade and for all the other superhero movies after. They had to surpass and be better than what Blade was. So, Blade was good.
I have two parts in this fight I'm not a massive fan of, and I want to see what you think.
Okay.
So there's a scene where Stephen Dorff, Deacon Frost, he has La Magra in him, and Blade kind of lets loose and kicks him and does all this, and they sword fight, and then Stephen Dorff goes, my turn. And then he's like, he starts going Roadrunner.
Yeah.
What did you think about that scene? Like, that was a little weird, right?
Now, what didn't you like? You didn't like that he can move quick, or that the way they depicted him moving quick was too cartoonish?
I think he had never done that prior in the fight, and maybe he was cocky. Maybe he just sort of thought he could take Blade because he was La Magra.
Uh-huh.
But the scene just felt because he never does that again. So it just felt like it could have been, like, he could have just punched Wesley in the head or thrown him into a wall or, kicked him into oblivion. But instead he zip-zaps all over the place. And it just felt like an off moment in the fight.
Well, I wouldn't say an off moment. I think they didn't have a lot for him to do. I mean,
you're right.
How much, like, with the powers he had, how much could he do without the audience believing there's no way in the world Blade can defeat this guy? The running around real quick, but then after that he punches him. He punches him into a wall after he moves fast. I mean, it was different from all the other choreographed movement in the scene. But to think about this scene, it was so much going on, and the scene was only about 4 minutes, 3.5 minutes long.
Short fight.
Yeah, it was short. But it was good. So I didn't mind him moving fast. No.
And last one, you just made me love that part now. So I have one more thing a little bit. But at the end, he just jumps in the air for no reason, La Magra, and then he gets loaded up with the serum.
Yeah.
That's a weird jump, right? Please tell me that's a weird jump.
No. I actually agree with you on that one. Because he already had hit him, I believe, twice. Right?
Yeah.
So he just jumps in the air almost like Morpheus did in The Matrix, the air with the crane, the crane move, and that allowed, and that was more or less, I felt like Blade needed an opportunity to throw all of these serums into him. How is he going to do that? Let's throw him in the air in slow motion and then have a montage of Blade throwing these serums, and when he comes back down, they'll have about 9 or 10 serums in his body and he'll explode. I think that's where it got kind of cheesy.
Yeah.
But, they had to end it somehow.
How happy would you be if you were a superhero and you knew that you could throw a serum in the air and then spin kick it into an ultimate evil vampire with a perfect shot? How pleased with yourself would you be?
Oh, man. Listen, that scene, it's a superhero movie.
Yeah.
So,
I love it. I think it's a perfect scene. But if you were Blade and you're thinking about it later on, you're back at your place, you're hanging out, you're drinking a blood teeny, and you're just like, I just spin kicked a serum into the ultimate evil easily. How on a scale of 1 to 10, how pleased with yourself are you?
Oh, I would be at a 10. I mean, that basically that set up the sequel. This vampire's, he can do it all.
Yeah.
He's a day walker, so he doesn't have to worry about all of the problems most vampires have. He has all their strengths and none of their weaknesses. So, and he can kick serums into people's heads. So,
What a great moment. That made me so happy. All right, so any final thoughts before we get out of here about this final fight? What's your favorite part of this fight?
Favorite part of this fight was the build up, but I would say my favorite part of the fight might have been the sword, because they went back and forth with the swords, and it was and I was hoping that they would end the movie with the sword. They really didn't. Either than him throwing them up and it knocking the serum down. But the sword fight was rich. Rich. Yeah, it was good. So I think that's my favorite part of this scene.
Just watching that. I remember when I first saw the trailer and the two of them, he had the red eyes. Steven Dorff had the red eyes, and then Blade, and they were just going like back and forth.
Right.
I was like, you got like 8 of my tickets. I'll buy 8 tickets.
After that, when they're using the sword and he's going towards Steven Dorff, he's cutting his shirt up.
Yeah.
Yeah. His shirt is flying all over the place. So yeah, Blade was an awesome superhero film to kind of bring us in. Like you said, X-Men was after that. Avengers was after that. Thor was after that. Iron Man was after that. Spider-Man was after, So, yeah.
And Blade has to be applauded, too, because in 98, comics weren't cool. Like, they weren't. They weren't where they are now. And it managed to take... I think starting with a vampire movie is really smart, because people aren't thinking this is a superhero movie. They're thinking this is a vampire action movie. Does that make sense? So it was a smart way into comic books. Because remember X-Men in 2000? They didn't put them in their costumes. They put them in leather jumpsuits to make them more cool. But Blade was just cool. Like, it wasn't self-conscious. It was a smart way to get into comic book films. And I don't know. I'm glad we talked about this, because I love this movie and I love this final fight. Yeah,
I mean, this was great. Did you hear how Wesley Snipes got to play Blade?
No, what happened?
He was trying to do Black Panther, and they wouldn't let him. So he had to settle with Blade.
That's fun.
He was in an interview. He said they wouldn't let him. I think it was too controversial. So they said, because the Black Panther that started back then was more like I don't want to say like the Black Panthers out in L.A., but he was very political.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they didn't want that at the time, so he had to settle with Blade.
I'm glad he did.
Oh yeah, for sure. He made Blade. Like, there's some characters that really fit into these characters, like Gerard Butler playing Leonidas in 300.
Oh yeah.
He was Leonidas.
He was. Yep.
Yeah. So same thing for Wesley Snipes and Blade. I mean, he took on that, and that's why I think that they had a TV show for Blade. It kind of didn't work because we see Wesley Snipes as Blade, but now the next Blade is supposed to be
Mahershala.
Mahershala Ali. Yeah. I think he's going to do a great job.
Oh, that dude's awesome. 2-time Oscar winner playing Blade? Shoot, we'll take it.
I can't wait. That's the closest we're going to get to Wesley, so,
I love it. Well, thanks for joining me, man. This was a lot of fun.
All right. Yeah, I appreciate it. Appreciate rehashing the great moments of Wesley Snipes and Blade. We're probably not going to get that again, even with the new one. The first one is always the one that's going to sit, in the heart of everybody. So I appreciate you bringing me on.
All right. So for me, Mark Hoffmeyer, for Hakim Robinson, this is Final Fights. We'll see you next week.